Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. We're continuing with the hadiths from Sahih Muslim, and we are in Kitab El Hay, which is the book of Menses. All hadiths addressing menses and etc. Taking a bath and all of that. And I want to share with you guys again, because a lot of people ask, a woman's period, again, is not determined by the number of days in which she bleeds. It's determined by the color of the blood. So when you come upon these different mathabs that say that a woman after 10 days or after 15 days, she should start praying because her period is over, this is not correct. Sometimes a woman's period can last 15 days. It can last 20 days, however long Allah make it last. And that's what the Prophet meant when he said the woman's period is not determined by the amount of days. It's determined by the color of the blood. And that hadith is in Sahih Bukhari. That's why in order to teach hadiths, you have to be a scholar of the hadith. You have to know the hadiths and the history behind them, not just one collection, but all of them. The reason why I like to teach from Sahih Muslim is because it's easier for you to understand. But more details is in Bukhari. And of course, more understanding is from Muwatta. Okay? So you have to know all these sources, because you're not going to find everything in Sahih Muslim. So where's the hadith that says that a woman's period is not determined by the amount of days she bleeds? It's in Sahih Bukhari. It's also mentioned in Muwatta. Okay, so again, don't listen to these methabs that try to tell you that you're done after 10 days. No, you're not done. The Prophet said you're not done until you stick a tissue in there and it comes out clean. If my period lasts 15 days or if my period lasts 20 days, that's my period. Until it stops, it ain't over until it stops. Okay? And today what we're going to do is continue on with the hadiths in this chapter. We're going to speak about how important it is for us as Muslims to conceal the private parts. We're also going to speak about instances in which taking a ghusl is required as opposed to simply making wudu. And we're going to also speak about the purification of animal skins. First of all, again, Islam is all about being clean, being neat, being just and good. Allah doesn't like for us to go around showing our private parts to the people. Before the Prophet Muhammad received the revelation, the Arabs used to make tawaf around the Kaaba naked. They used to walk around with their private parts out. Okay, but after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the call to prophethood, he stopped that. He said we can't do that anymore. We have to be careful of our appearance. Allah doesn't want you showing and parading your privates publicly. Let's look at the hadiths addressing some of this. One of the companions says, when the Kaaba was constructed, the Prophet and Abbas went and picked up rocks. Abbas told the Prophet, why don't you take off your lower garment and put it around your shoulder to protect you from the hardness of the rocks? So the Prophet did. He took off his waist garment and put it around his neck, his shoulders, but he fell down to the ground and became unconscious. And his eyes were facing the sky. What happened was, he was receiving a revelation. He was told to cover his private parts. Cover your private parts. Cover his private parts. And that's what he did. When he got up, he took that thing and tied it back around his waist. This is a waist wrapper. When you read the translation of the hadith in English, you wonder, what is a waist wrapper? It's just a garment tied around the waist, and this is a picture of it. That's what the Egyptians used to wear. That's what the Arabs used to wear and still do. A waist wrapper. And people still wear them, in hot climates. It goes around your waist, down to your knees to shield your private parts. Okay, so again, don't walk around naked, guys. Islam forbids us from doing that. We are not supposed to walk around as God fearing people, displaying to the world our nakedness. What do you think the prophet would say if he were living here today and saw the women walking around in these bikinis and stuff? Shame on them. What a terrible shame. Hold on for 1 second, please. Okay, I'm sorry, my cats were playing with the thing there. Okay, so anyway, do not go around showing your private parts publicly. Also, a lot of Muslims ask me, they say, Sister Layla, there are so many hadiths out there, and some of them say that the only time that I have to take a ghusl is if me and my husband are together and we ejaculate. I was told, and I read the hadith for myself, where the prophet said that you don't have to take a ghusl unless there's ejaculation. Those hadiths are in Sahih Muslim. This is correct. But this is the difference between Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari. What makes Imam Bukhari's collection the most authentic, intense collection on earth? He didn't put in his collection the abrogated hadiths. Imam Muslim did. For those of you who don't know, Imam Muslim was Imam Bukhari's student. He added to his collection some of the hadiths that were abrogated too. I find that abrogated hadiths confuse the people. Like, so many are confused because they don't know what abrogated means. Abrogated means they are canceled out. They have been overruled. Yes, in the beginning of Islam. Yes, in the beginning, the prophet did say, as long as you don't ejaculate, you don't have to take a bath. But that was later changed. Later, Allah sent the revelation to the prophet telling him to tell the people that whenever the two sexual parts connect with each other, then we have to take a ghusl, whether you've ejaculated or not. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when anyone sits amongst the four parts of the woman and the circumcised parts touch each other, then a bath becomes obligatory. A person came and asked the Prophet about a man who had sexual intercourse, but he did not have an orgasm. He did not ejaculate. Does he have to take a ghusl? The Prophet answered and said, yes. So forget those other hadiths. Those other hadiths were abrogated or replaced with these. So whether you or your wife ejaculate or not, there's a lot of women who don't get orgasms. So you think that they don't have to take a bath because they didn't have an orgasm? There are some men who don't get orgasms. So you mean to tell me that he can do what he does and not take a bath? No. Whenever the two private parts come in contact with each other, you have to take a ghusl, whether you have ejaculated or had an orgasm or not. And I hope this is clear. Okay? Also, another question people might ask, Sister Layla, I've also come upon other hadiths that speak about purification. I've read in Sahih Muslim that there are some hadiths that say that whenever you cook food over fire, you have to make a wudu. That if I eat anything that's been cooked over fire, say for example I grill some hamburgers. The fire has touched my hamburgers, or I grill a steak. The fire has touched the steak. I have to make wudu before I pray. Is that true? The hadiths say I do. These are other hadiths that have been abrogated. Imam Muslim included them, but they have been canceled out. In the beginning, the Prophet did say, whenever you cook food over an open fire, make wudu afterwards. But he later canceled that. The Prophet ﷺ ate some meat from a goat that was cooked over fire, and he went and made salat without making wudu. Okay? So this hadith, this command had been abrogated or replaced. Also, the Prophet drank some milk and he rinsed his mouth. Okay? But he did not make wudu. Also, the Prophet was given some bread and meat. He took 3 bites and went and prayed without making wudu. So those are all the proofs that you don't have to make wudu after drinking milk or eating cheese. You don't have to make wudu after eating meat that has been cooked by the fire. All that was canceled out. In the beginning, yes, the Prophet did make wudu after eating cheese or after drinking milk, but that was later canceled or abrogated. So be careful, guys. You cannot teach yourself this religion. You have to learn from the true scholars, the true people of knowledge. The Prophet said, learn the deen from the people of knowledge. A person of knowledge is a person who has knowledge and understanding of the hadiths. And not just 1 or 2 hadiths, but the hadiths. The history of them and everything else. Which ones were canceled and which ones were not. The meaning behind them, what happened to make it happen. They have to know all that. It's an intense science. It's an intense study. Everybody understand that? Otherwise, you'll be one of those Muslims thinking that you have to make wudu because you ate some cheese or because you had a hamburger or a hot dog off the grill or a steak off the grill. No, you don't. Those things do not break the wudu. However, there is one thing or one meat that if we do eat, we do have to make wudu from. And that is if we eat camel meat. Camel meat. A man asked the Prophet whether he should make wudu after eating sheep. And the Prophet said, if you want to, you can, but you don't have to. He said, well, do I have to make wudu after I eat a camel? The Prophet said, yes, make wudu after eating a camel. And also we cannot pray in the pasture of a camel. Because the Prophet ﷺ told us that every camel has a jinn that follows behind it. The jinn are allowed to eat the dung of the camel. So this is why we don't pray in a pasture of camels, or where camel dung is, because there's jinns in there too. So you have to make wudu after you eat camel meat, but you don't have to make wudu after eating any other meat. Is that clear? Anyone that tells you otherwise needs to fear Allah. Okay? And also another question about wudu that people ask us, what about this, Sister Layla? I don't know if I broke my wudu or not. I mean, my stomach is hurting. I don't know if I passed gas or not. Well, the Prophet ﷺ said, if any of you experience pain in your stomach, but you don't know if you pass gas or not, unless you hear something or smell something, then don't worry about it. So unless you smell the smell of passing gas or hear the sound that comes out, don't let Shaitan make you think that you broke your wudu. A lot of us suffer with antacids and all that, and stomach issues and all that. Unless you smell something or hear something, assume that you still have your wudu. And finally, for today, a lot of Muslims ask about wearing clothing from animals that are unlawful for us to eat. For example, pig skin. If I wear some suede shoes or suede purse, can I wear a coat made from suede? Yes, because tanning purifies the animal. We're only forbidden from eating the flesh of a pig. We're not forbidden from using its skin for whatever we use it for, even if we want to drink. If I make a container to hold my liquid out of pig skin, I can still drink from that. Okay? Where's my evidence? Well, we have here one of the slaves of Maimuna was given a goat in charity, but it died. The prophet saw the dead body laying in the street. So he asked her, why didn't you take off its skin? He said, you are only forbidden from eating it. Make use of its skin. And also the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever the skin of an animal is tanned, the tanning purifies the skin. And then we have another hadith, whereas a man saw another man wearing a fur coat, and he said, I want to touch it, but I don't think I can because it's an animal that we're not supposed to eat. So they went and asked Ibn Abbas about it. They said, look, we come from the north where there are Berbers and stuff, and we wear fur. They wear fur. Can we touch them? Can we wear them? And Ibn Abbas told them, we are only told to not eat that meat, but there is nothing wrong with making use of its skin. So there you can wear the fur coats of animals, the fur of animals and stuff, as long as it's been tanned. And also they said, the Magians, they come to us with skins filled with water. In other words, they use the skin of animals to hold their water and stuff in it. They said, can we drink from it? Ibn Abbas said, yes, drink from it. He said, this is not my opinion. I heard the Prophet say tanning purifies the skin. So even if it's a cup or a leather gourd or something made from the skin of an animal that's unlawful or whatnot, we can still drink from out of that thing because we're only forbidden from eating it. Tanning it purifies it. So we learn a lot today from these wonderful hadiths. First of all, Islam forbids us from displaying our private parts publicly. And we should take care as Muslims to not show our body parts in the public. Also, we learned that whenever the two private parts of a man and a woman come in contact with each other, we have to take a ghusl, whether there was ejaculation or not. We also learned that wudu is not required after eating meat that has been cooked on a fire. Nor do we have to make wudu after eating cheese or milk. We also learned that wudu is required after eating camel meat. And also we cannot pray in the pasture of a camel. And finally, we learned that tanning an animal's skin makes the skin lawful to be used for clothing and drinking utensils, even if the animal is one we were forbidden to eat, such as a pig. So these are the things we learned from the Sunnah. And that's why I stress to you guys, no one has the authority to make things lawful or unlawful but Allah. You're never going to learn what's lawful or what's unlawful until you learn the Sunnah. We have to stop following method and turn back to the Sunnah and start following the Sunnah. And also, guys, I want to remind everybody, we're in the middle of the month, almost the end of the month. We're desperately in need of donations. If you guys would like to continue to come to these classes and get, learn the religion and its truthfulness based on the Quran and the authentic hadith, you want to continue to learn the true meaning of the hadiths and be able to come and ask your questions about Islam live here to me and whatnot, please donate to keep this dawah effort going, guys. We're just a small nonprofit organization. We don't have any big spenders. It's just a bunch of housewives and students here. Please, guys, donate today. Simply go to www.sunnahfollowers.net/donate.php. Okay, so we'll stop right here. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them on the screen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.